I recently mastered the Executor, and I'm here to share all the juicy details with you. Did you know, for example, that the sheath and unsheath of your cursed blade in itself can already parry everything? Projectiles, attacks, waves of flames shot at you, whatever. Or that your Beast Crucible form has a roar and a special dagger attack for massive staggers. Let's jump right in. The Executor has Dexterity and Arcane S tier scaling, which means status effects are the name of your game. Poison, Frostbite, Bleed. All of these scale with Arcane and are the most powerful on him. He does love to use his katanas, and you often end up with a Naga Kiba. Favorite choice would be the Rivers of Blood, because that has the Arcane C tier and the Dexterity A tier scaling. Anything Dexterity based with a status effect though is welcome. Might it be daggers, swords, curved swords, whatever comes your way. And these status effects make you the heavy DPS of your team. Kind of like a bruiser. You could function as an off-tank with your cursed sword, guarding, parrying enemies' attacks and kind of soaking some damage up. But realistically, you want a raider, guardian, or a wilder to be your actual tank? Well, you stand next to the boss and hack and slash away with a bleed proc after bleed proc after bleed proc. Now let's actually talk about your cursed sword and also your passives and the ultimate. Your passive is Tenacity. You will receive a damage boost if you're recovering from status ailments. Nightlord doing madness to you, as soon as you get afflicted by madness, you actually become more powerful. Someone applies bleed to you, you lose life, well, you're more powerful afterwards. Congratulations. Now the bread and butter, your cursed sword. You can unsheath it, and then you can start deflecting with it. Now this is the wrong way to play the cursed sword, because the actual unsheathing of the blade, sheath, unsheath, sheath, unsheath, this also deflects and is way faster than unsheathing and pressing the deflect. So if the dude now comes to hit me, I just pull the blade out. That was me unsheathing. I'm not unsheathing and then guarding. No, I am just merely unsheathing. And that is enough to deflect. Otherwise, you would unsheath and then have to hold the deflect. And then resheath if you want to swap out. This is so much smoother and can be woven into your actual playstyle. For example, if you're fighting those Crucible Knights that are going around, the ones that are dragon infused and have the horse that spews fireballs. As soon as you go to a certain distance, you drink your flask, you could roll out of the way, or you just unsheath your sword quickly to actually counter his attack. Any Nightlord throwing their range attacks at you, no worries, you can deflect that with your blade. It is quite powerful how a simple sheath, unsheath does the work for you. There's one problem here though. Let's say I'm dual wielding Rivers of Blood and I'm pumping out the Rivers of Blood attack. Cool. Then if I sheath, unsheath, so I pull the blade out to block something and I go back, then the Rivers of Blood will be one-handed. That's why it's better in this case to actually play dual wield, because you always end up in the dual wield. So I'm hacking away with my 2 bleed weapons. I'm doing massive bleed damage, correct? And then if I roll away, something gets flying at me, or there is a attack I'm not sure how to dodge or deal with, I just unsheath my blade, deflected, my blade gets charged up, and here's also the interesting part, the charged up blade stays charged up, so it's charged up right now, I put it back, I'm instantly dual wielding again, so I don't have to press any bonus button, right? Sheath, unsheath, and I'm dual wielding again. I can just attack with both blades. I don't have to two-hand something beforehand anymore. And then if I unsheath my blade, it's still glowing. I can still save up this attack for the moment when I need it. But it's perfectly opportune to then do a big damage hit. Also, the sheath unsheathing against the enemy does actually stagger them. So if you use this in between to deflect something, well, it staggers them. What about your Crucible Beast now? Your ultimate, you turn into this monstrosity and, well, you do have your standard light attack. That's cool. We all love a light attack. Keep in mind, you can actually take damage in this form, so you're not immune to damage. The good thing though is that it heals you instantly. You can use this with 1 HP, go full HP, and if I now turn back, I am full HP again. See, he damages me now. Come on, hit me. Hurt me. I have gone down. I go into beast form and we're full. And if I then pop out, well, we're good. So it's like another flask. Really nice. We go for the light attacks. The light attacks are nice. And then you're hitting. Boom. Same goes for the heavy attack. The heavy attacks are a bit more swingy. And also, you can do a jump attack too, which is quite powerful. So do not underestimate that one. And then you have on your LB button a roar. That roar has some incredible useful relics. But there's one final thing that you actually have. And that is your skill, which would be this dagger you pull out of your hand, which does massive damage plus a stagger. The downside is it instantly pulls you out of the form. So if I now transform into the beast and my first attack is the skill, I'm getting thrown out. Boom. What you'd rather do is you turn into the beast, you go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, hit. That was all light attacks, right? And then you do the light attacks again and the light attacks again. And after 3 rotations of your light attacks, you then are able to actually unleash the blade to end your beast form. You should also use it if you've already lost around half HP in your beast form, because half of your HP in this case is your actual HP. And then you'd rather do the blade before you get thrown out of your form and die. Your beast form is amazing though, because it really staggers elite bosses. For example, the Crucible Knights. Again, you can hit them and they always reel back as you punch them around, and your teammates can do banger DPS while you off-tank the boss. That doesn't work against Night Lords. You still do immense amounts of staggers, and for a time you can function as a tank. But you'll never be a real tank like Raider, Wilder, or the Guardian. What are now some first things you want to do with the Executor on landing? What is different with this character than other characters? Because something did change. We actually altered our whole strategy on how we play day one because of this guy, since he gets so much stronger by doing a certain something. Obviously, you clear your first camp to then get your level up, because level 2 is just so more efficient than being level 1. But then the first thing you would do is clear, for example, this ruin to get myself a new weapon, and it's most likely going to be an Ushi katana, a Naga Kiba with bleed, because you're always being offered one of these katanas, meteoric or blade with bleed. And then I instantly go into the mines to afterwards upgrade my weapon. This will give me a purple bleed proc weapon with immense damage that I can then dual wield with my Executor's blade already. And I can still use the sheet unsheet, right? I don't have to have the Executor's blade on me. The sheet unsheet is just my skill. This allows you to lean right into the massive bleed mechanics. If you have a purple blade 5 minutes into the game, you're just so going to dish it out left, right, and center. And don't worry wasting your stone, because the first Naga Kiba that you get with bleed is most likely something you're going to have in your offhand as a purple weapon anyhow. And then you're going to replace your main hand through a Rivers of Blood, Elenia's blade. Something in that direction that you're getting down the line. Now, what are some skills you'll be looking for on weapons with the Executor? And these are actually so important. I like to take damage negation with successive attacks, which means if you go slash, slash, and slash, you suddenly then have 50% damage negation. Also, taking damage gives you damage negation. More damage while wielding 2 armaments. Skill cost reduction and more skill damage. Works super well. And then in general, physical damage negation, because you get some HP but not too much, and you're always close to the opponent because you get a hack and slash away. Especially the damage negation with successive attacks. That is so huge. And there's one trick you need to keep in mind. If you do upgrade a weapon, this one says improved charged incantations. Yeah, I have sadness here right now. Or the improved fire attack power from the Spanish Knight's Greatsword. If you upgrade this, the power will also upgrade. It goes from 9% to 15%. And if it's white, for example, if your shield has 9% damage negation, that goes partially up to 18, 27%. A purple weapon with damage negation, successive attacks, has 49%. Another passive on weapons I've been very successful with has been bonus guard break-in. That really helps you with your beast form and with your general sheet unsheet and hitting away to have the enemy get staggered, and allow your team to hack away at them. Now, what about your relics? Which ones are the real banger ones that help tons? One of my favorites is the Grand Burning Scene. This one you can actually buy from the Small Jar Bazaar. And it says Roaring restores HP while art is active, Dexterity and Arcane Plus. Straight damage booster, but if you then go into your beast form and you roar, there's a heal effect happening. Very useful. Otherwise, I had great success with Ultimate Art Gauge Relics to then push my Ultimate Art faster upwards again. That being said, one of my favorite ones is Stamina recovers with each successful attack, Knight of the Beast, left side. This has my starting armament also do fire damage, not so important, but this bonus stamina recovery allows you to just hit more because you're going to go dual wield, doop, 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 doop. And if you have 2 of these relics, you feel like you get 3 to 4 more hits in with 1 stamina bar. That being said, the most powerful ones will be the ones with this. Attack power up when facing poison inflicted enemies. Not poison inflicted, if you have blood loss. Whenever blood loss appears in your vicinity, you get bonus attack power. Sadly, I have not yet gotten one of these. But if you have anyone that says more damage with blood loss, that's exactly what you need, because you are going to bleed your opponent, or one of your friends is going to bleed. But it will happen. These are the 3 for my most successful runs, killing all the Night Lords so far. Dexterity +2, Arcane +2, and the Roar. Then we have Ultimate Arc Gauge and improved attack power with straight swords equipped. I often do have a straight sword equipped. And then defeating enemies restores HP for allies but not for self. Kind of helps a lot too with the Ultimate Arc Gauge. And then successful attacks give you +1 stamina recovery, and starting armament deals fire damage. Sadly, I don't have very good ones to then boost my damage further. From a team composition standpoint, I only play the Executor if there is a Raider, Wilder, or Guardian in the team. If there's no Raider, Wilder, or Guardian, the Executor falls off hard. You really want someone to do the bonus stagger, to do some tanking for you that you can hack and slash away. Otherwise, you're going to spend your time on the ground. No matter if you have the cursed sword deflecting, if you get really good at it, you just won't feel like the super tank unless you're perfect and you really deflect every single hit. Don't recommend that. Otherwise, as soon as you have a Wilder, Guardian, or Raider, always pick the Executor, and then whatever your other team wants. You work well with the Duchess together because she actually can, with her restage, work together on your Men's Bleed. The Recluse, the Revenant, the Einai, we all work nicely together. Any other Executor tips you'd like to share with the community and some of the relics you might have gotten? If you're looking though for the Recluse, Revenant, Raider, we got them all covered. Enjoy, have a fantastic day, slay those Night Lords.